Last season, Alicent want an eye for Aemon Targaryen's loss, and maybe Rhaenyra should have took that deal, because an eye for an eye quickly turned to a son for a son. Welcome back, guys, to Fog Entertainment, here to kick off the brand new season of House of the Dragon, and episode 1, the premiere. Going to be honest, it was very disappointing. It was basically just Rhaenyra feeling the effects of losing her son in the finale last season, where obviously Aemon wanted to get a little bit of revenge. Didn't necessarily mean to kill him, but when you're riding a big massive fucking dragon called Vhagar, I guess dragons get angry, and when they see something in front of them and they see you attacking it, they're going to think it's prey. They're going to eat it. They think it's food. And yeah, we said goodbye to one of Rhaenyra's children, but don't worry, she sleeps around. I'm sure she's going to have plenty more. That's not really the point, though. This one was called A Son for a Son, and it's slowly setting up a war for the crown between Rhaenyra and Aemon Targaryen, but it was a very, very slow episode, and not what you want from a Season 2 opener.
No, it was a slow burner. I don't even think it burned out, to be honest. Yeah, at the end you've got...
It was burning at one side very slowly.
No, that's it, but I don't know. I think with this show, you compare it to Game of Thrones, it's very, very slow, and it's like, it's not only you've waited a year, there's been a 2-year wait for this second season to come out. Now, yes, we just finished season 1, so we were actually blessed with about a 2-week wait, but I don't know. I mean, the episode pretty much consists in parts of, like, people that we just got introduced to this episode, despite having a big roster to play with.
Yeah, I feel like with Game of Thrones, even in the slow episodes of Game of Thrones, where you feel like, even, like, let's say filler episodes, it still feels like a lot is happening. I think in House of the Dragon, it doesn't really feel like anything is happening. It's very slow, it's very played out. You could describe this show as boring, and I don't think you would be wrong. I do think it is boring, but we get introduced to the Starks. One of the Starks is on the wall. We see Rhaenyra's son is trying to get the Stark family on side. There's then a Raven. He finds out that his brother's dead. He flies back. Rhaenyra isn't really acting like a queen right now. She's acting like a woman, a mother that's lost her child, and this seems to be pissing off Daemon. But look, Daemon might be an arsehole who doesn't have any feelings or is not emotional about anybody. This guy lost his wife and didn't give an absolute shit. This guy killed his other wife and didn't care. So he can't really connect, understand.
He can't comprehend.
He can't have empathy for what Rhaenyra is feeling right here. But, I think it's perfectly normal for her to, like, right now not be thinking about, right, I need to get this crown on my head. She's got more important things on her mind, like burying her son.
Yeah, I actually just do not like Daemon. He's a narcissistic psychopath that just seems to... he has daughters, right? And it's like, he's not even fucking interacted with them. It's like, the guy's went through so many... all his family members pretty much...
Yeah, they're not
give
even
him second chances, even though it doesn't fucking warrant any single one of them.
It
doesn't show any remorse. He groomed his niece. Let's call a spade a spade.
And they're not even bastard children. They're like legit children, It's like
aye,
that he doesn't care for.
No, I don't. I hate this guy. You know what?
But even his kids, the 2 kids that he had, they married Rhaenyra's 2 kids. So it's like, that makes them even closer now.
No, it does, but I don't understand what the show's direction here is. Are we supposed to like this guy? Or are we supposed to hate this guy? Because I kind of get the feeling that
No, it seems like he's supposed to be the main protagonist, in my opinion. He's supposed to be the man that you get behind, but...
In terms of, the male, and I think he's the least... does honour come into it? I just think he's a snake in the grass. He's like the lowest of the low.
Yeah, no, he is...
He reminds me of a Joffrey that can handle himself.
A little bit. He is pissed off that Corley's wife, whose name... I'm sorry, I just keep forgetting her name. Corley's wife could have ended...
The old Targaryen.
Yeah, Corley's wife could have basically ended this all. She could have won Rhaenyra the crown by just killing Aegon and Alicent and Hightower, everybody that day. But she didn't, and like Damon's pissed off that this person didn't just like murder a whole bunch of people. I mean, like, is it really bad if somebody wants to become queen without killing? I just don't understand it, but Damon just doesn't seem to care.
Yeah, and it's like his nephews. I mean, pretty much everybody that was in that temple is related to him in some form.
I mean, Rhaenyra, yeah, it's like it's his brother's kids, and I just don't understand it. I mean, Rhaenyra's already said that she wanted to, and Queen Alicent also says that they wanted to get the crown without killing, without bloodshed, but that just doesn't seem to be Damon's motto. He doesn't want to do that. He's just willing to kill everybody. I mean, at this point, I wouldn't even be surprised if he cut Rhaenyra's head off. I think he'd take a blade to anybody other than himself because he seems to be in love with himself. But
This guy's only alive due to fucking plot armor, by the way. It's the most forced thing I've ever seen.
yeah, especially the way he was getting on in the first season. Basically, like you said, grooming his niece, grooming the king's daughter.
No, and just constantly going against the king.
Yeah, I just...
No, I don't know. I read something earlier, like apparently the character's nothing like he is in the book. And to me that would make sense, because you see in these times, in this world, you can only get away with so much.
Also, people say... I've read, like, you know, not the fan fiction, but I've just seen people comment and stuff, and people say that you can see in this show that Daemon had a love for his brother Viserys like nobody else. People are saying that Daemon loved Viserys more than Rhaenyra, more than Alicent. I mean, I have not seen that, right? I do not see that whatsoever. But even if that is the case, wouldn't his love for Viserys, wouldn't that, like, make him at least want to try and solve this crown peacefully without murdering Viserys, his wife, and his kids? If he really did love his brother, like, wouldn't he be trying to make Rhaenyra queen without slaughtering Viserys' family?
And also, if he truly loved his brother, he probably wouldn't have groomed his fucking niece. He probably wouldn't have went against him all those other times. Like, he doesn't.
They'd probably respect his dying wishes as well, but they didn't do that either. So yeah, we get introduced to... Well, not introduced, but we see...
So look at him when his brother said about the stepstones back in episode 3. It's like, I'm going to send people to help you.
And he's like, fuck your help, and he just goes and does it himself.
No.
Dodged about 20 million arrows, more plot armor in there.
No, fucking... I actually hate this character.
We see Aegon Targaryen acting as king, and you know what? He seemed laid back. I thought he was kind of going to be like a Joffrey type character. But
they need to avoid that. They can't just repeat it.
He seemed like he was maybe not taking it serious, maybe too laid back. He was trying to be a nice king, trying to be helpful. When people were coming to him for help, he was basically trying to honour what everybody needed. And Hightower was like, nah, you can't be doing this.
Because then everybody will want all the cows and goats. And...
like, maybe he just doesn't take it serious. And we kind of got that in season 1 where he was like, I don't want it. It's not for me kind of deal. But I actually thought he was okay, and at this point, he's the one that I want to be king. For one reason, Viserys, that was his dying wish. And second of all, I actually think at this point, Aegon's more likeable than Rhaenyra or Daemon or anybody else on that side of the war.
No, absolutely. What side's this side? Green?
Green, yep.
And the other side's black?
Yeah, I'm on the green side, yeah. I must admit, I'm team green right now.
Yeah, you know what? As much as like conniving's going on the green side, like if you look at like the high towers, I don't think they get on. I don't think they get on like cunts. They didn't sanction the kill of Rhaenyra's daughter.
Yeah, people treat
Daemon literally this episode snuck in and was like, "This needs to happen, and he needs to die." He snuck in through the back fucking door with his wee bag of coins.
People treat Otto like he's a horrible guy. I mean, I haven't really seen it. Alicent was sleeping around with Christian Cole.
But see Otto, he seems like, I'll kill because it's necessary. We should have acted this way. We'll make it humane. Daemon just seems like a guy that's bloodthirsty.
Yep.
Willing to kill for the sake of killing.
We didn't really get much of Aemond. He thinks that Alicent blames this war on him, and I mean, let's be honest, this war was probably going to happen anyway because I didn't see either side bending the knee. So therefore, it was going to lead to a war. Now, maybe him killing Rhaenyra's son has sped up the process or whatnot. But yeah, he thinks that his mother blames him for the war. Then at the end of the episode, we get a couple of guys from Team Black. They infiltrate. They don't like the High Tower, so they're willing to help infiltrate and basically try and take out Aemon. So a son for a son.
And for me, this just lasted far too long,
Yeah.
right? Because we've got these two characters with no names. We've been introduced to them. We've got one guy who's got a really deep voice and another guy who's just generic, man. And essentially Damon pays them. Damon then leaves. Where the fuck he go, who knows? And then, like, I would say about the last 20 minutes of this episode is these two just wandering around.
Sneaking around.
Wandering around King's Landing. Like, where is the security? Where is the guards? Like, they're pretty much at war here. These two sneak. Oh, we're just catching rats. The big guy with the deep voice is putting the traps down, but then he hears like a bit of like scrummaging going on. He then sneaks into this other room. Turns out that his wee tag team partner has got who's the king called? He's got the queen
Aegon
at knife point, and then they've got
But isn't that his sister?
yeah. It's just all incestuous weird shit, man.
So in season 1, Aegon and his sister, they were just brother and sister. But I believe in season 2, they are now husband and wife, king and queen.
Yeah, and I didn't believe it was much of a time skip. They didn't really portray much of a time skip, to be honest.
And so there's two kids there. I'm assuming they're twins. One's a boy, one's a female. They want to kill the son because it has to be a son for a son. He doesn't know who's who. One of the guys says to him, check for his cock. And I mean, what's a kid here? It sounds a bit fucking pedo-y, like, if you ask me. And they end up cutting the head off of the son while the young Targaryen, I guess she's queen at this point, or the sister of Aegon or whatever, she then carries the other child and she just like runs away. Doesn't scream for help, doesn't do anything like that, doesn't try to alert anybody. She just like runs for like a couple of minutes.
Yeah, another dragged out scene.
Unnecessary. Then she goes into a room and once again we see Alicent and Christian Cole having sex here. And she just like cowers down with the kid and Alicent's like, what the heck's going on here? And like that was it. That was the end of the episode. I mean, not very good.
Yeah, just very lackluster. It's like your child's just got beheaded. You've probably got all the King's Guard outside. They'll hear you if you scream. And it's like, I mean, these two guys that just committed this fucking treasonous act, they'll probably get away with this.
Yeah, at this point they could be escaping because she's not
Yeah.
alerting anybody, doing nothing. So yeah, I thought it was just a very boring, very slow episode. Not a lot happened. I'll get a 5 out of 10.
All the big stuff happening, right, is between characters that we barely fucking know. And don't know. So, I'm going to agree with a 5. Slow burner. I feel like all the heavy hitters this episode almost took like a backward step. They weren't doing anything. We did see Corley's for like 2 minutes.
Yeah, he was thanking someone that pulled him to... You pulled me to shore. Just, so what? I mean, what's that do for us? Absolutely
that
nothing.
scene did not need to happen.
I mean, I guess it was cool that we got introduced to, like, the Starks, but then, you know, after the opening, it was kind
It sounded like Robb Stark, but then it turns out it was actually the guy speaking.
Yeah, we got introduced to Baratheons last season, but no mention of them this season. There's a lot of talk. There's lots of talk about what they're going to do, but they don't actually seem to do it. It's just at a snail's pace, and I don't know, is there less material here? Are they purposely dragging this out because they want more seasons? That they don't want to burn through material? Because I don't even know what the problem is, but I know in the original Game of Thrones they caught up to the book before George whatever he's called, George Martin. Before he finished it, and then when they started overlapping the source material, that's when the show went to shit. I don't know if that's the case with this, or if he's finished this book or whatnot, but...
see, I think that's a piss poor excuse, by the way.
It's a snail's pace. They did that... Well, they didn't slow down with The Walking Dead, but I remember them being worried about The Walking Dead as well.
Yeah,
catching
but
up with the comics.
I don't get that logic. It's like, if you catch up, why not just write the show the way you were going to write the book.
Maybe they don't know how they're going to write the book, but you could just write the show, then write
Yeah,
the
but
book.
if the book ends up being good, then why couldn't the show have just ended up being like the book?
Yeah, if the same person that wrote the book gives the same ideas for the show, then there shouldn't be an issue.
And also, another problem with my feelings about this show is like you're talking about catch up the source material. Then why have these like fucking year time skips in the? I mean, we literally had, like 2 decades took place in the first season. If you're worried about things get catching up, then drag it out more.
Yeah, look,
It's already slow enough, so why not just not avoid the time skips?
just very, very slow, guys. I mean, is it a bad show? No, but I'm shocked with the amount of people that think. See, over like the last decade, the amount of times that I've seen people claim that sequels and prequels are better than the original. It's incredible. The only big show that I can recall that people weren't saying was better than the original was probably Mayans MC. I don't really recall any. I know there was a couple of people, but I think they were like Mexican, therefore you've got that kind of, you know, got that allegiance, I guess, to the Mayans. But like, I don't really recall anybody saying that Mayans MC is better than Sons. But you see a lot of people claiming that Better Call Saul is better than Breaking Bad. I've seen a lot of people claim that Fear the Walking Dead is better than the original Walking Dead, and I'm seeing a lot of people claim that this House of the Dragon is better than Game of Thrones, and I just don't see it.
Yeah, you but what the difference is for me, I can actually see why people would prefer Mayans in a way to Sons, even though it's nowhere near. But I look at this and I just, even though it's similar, I just think this is such a poor version of Game of Thrones. It's Game of Thrones, but just focusing on like 2 locations rather than a million.
It's without all the houses, without all the locations, without all the cool characters. I mean, for every 10 great for every 10 great Game of Thrones characters, you might have like 1 okay House of the Dragon characters. In Game of Thrones, felt like there was a lot more action. You felt like things were moving along quicker. There was more deaths in Game of Thrones. Like House of the Dragon, it does feel like you could literally miss like 1 or 2 episodes in a row and not really miss anything. It is very, very slow. Look, 5 out of 10, guys, for the premiere.
But I think the only thing that maybe House of Dragon has done better than Game of Thrones is time skips, because that's the only thing it's fucking known for. I think they've managed to actually, like, you know, include the way actors and actresses have changed in a decent light, but I mean, is that really a positive? I don't necessarily think so.
No, not for me. So yeah, I'm getting a 5 out of 10. You're getting a 5 out of 10, guys. Hopefully it picks up. I did look at the rating on Internet Movie Database. I think it got an 8.6 so far, which is considerably lower than the rest of the episodes for season 1. So maybe people weren't too impressed with this. Other reviews that I've seen have said it was like a solid start, but nothing spectacular. And yeah, I've got to agree with that. I think it was like okay at best, but you know, nothing great. Hopefully episode 2 picks up. I mean, I think it will get better than this. I can't imagine it's going to get worse than this, but it's just very, very slow, and we're moving at a snail's pace here. If you love slow stuff, filler stuff, then by all means, you're probably in love with this show. But I mean, for me, I just want to see more action. I want to see things quicken up. I just want to see things move further along. And I miss the really good dialogue scenes. Like I miss in Game of Thrones when you got a Robert Baratheon talking or a Ned Stark talking. You would pay attention. You would be listening. So Lannisters talk, you pay attention. In this show, it's like nobody really says anything that is of importance or like memorable. It's kind of the dialogue's not great. All right, that's my opinion. Catch you in the next one, guys. Till then, peace.